start to clean. Embrace it.
I cannot embrace it! You're mistaking me for a human!
I am not!
One of the biggest moments in Season 3, Episode 4, is undoubtedly Starbridge Gate, the moment Demerzel finally confesses to bringing down the Starbridge. And I think that also peels back a major layer of who she really is. Heads up, there'll be spoilers in this video. We can all agree that Demerzel is a paradox. One minute she seems loyal, and the next she seems cold and calculating. But if you're paying attention, the writers aren't trying to confuse you. They're showing you exactly who she is. Because the thing is, inasmuch as Demerzel gave those men bombs and orchestrated the Starbridge attack, what she didn't do was do it out of hatred or to start a war. Or at least, that's what she wants us to believe. But she did it because the logic told her it was the only way to keep the future alive. And to Demerzel, logic means outcomes. If killing millions meant preserving the Selden plan, then that's what had to happen. It's not about what feels right, but what the numbers say will save the future. And unfortunately for her, she remembers every detail of it. She remembers the ones who froze, the ones who burned, and the ones who fell. She had to watch it all happen, because part of her programming is to witness what she cannot prevent. Demerzel doesn't get to look away, and she doesn't get to forget. I think another thing the writers do really well in this episode is how, in the Grove scene, Zephyr Varelis actually probes, instead of just listening. She tells Demerzel plainly that if she's truly here to unburden herself, why has she never actually confessed to anything? And when Demerzel finally does, we find out it's not just a shocking revelation, it's horrifying. Because it means the most loyal servant of the Empire isn't just doing terrible things. She's doing them while knowing exactly how terrible they are. And what's even worse, she did it all to save a crumbling dynasty ruled by copies of the same man. What hurts isn't the deaths, it's the contradiction. Another thing Zephyr does, and this is very important, is that she doesn't focus on the death toll. She tries to get to the real wound, which is the paradox tearing Demerzel apart. Demerzel says she made her judgment in spite of this. And this is in spite of the lives lost, and in spite of the guilt she'd carry. Because back then, saving the Foundation meant preserving the Empire. That was what the logic was supposed to be. But now, that same Foundation has become the Empire's greatest enemy. And that makes Demerzel, by her own programming, complicit in treason. So she didn't betray the Empire in a single moment. What she started is a slow fire that eventually turned her own logic against her. And that's the contradiction that's become very clear to Zephyr. Demerzel obeyed the math, and now she's being punished by it. Because now she can regret and remember. But unfortunately for her, she can't change course. And that's what's breaking her. The soul? She says she doesn't have. Zephyr is really good at what she does. I mean, yeah, she's a Luminist. And if you're not familiar, Luminists are one of the galaxy's biggest religions. They believe in reincarnation and that the soul returns again and again to grow. But still, Zephyr's more than just a believer. Because she doesn't try to reprogram Demerzel or debate her logic. She just tries to reach her, the only way she knows how, which is through belief. She tells Demerzel, maybe you've already been reincarnated. Not spiritually, but in your own way, and through everything you've been forced to become. Which makes sense, because think about it. Each time Demerzel's core programming changed, it was like death. And what came after was a new version of her, which was 3 lives and 3 deaths. The first version of Demerzel was bound by the 3 laws of robotics, which were rules that prevent robots from harming humans, require them to obey, and let them protect themselves only if it doesn't conflict with the first 2. The second was reshaped by the Zeroth Law, which allowed killing for the greater good. And now, this one, the most tragic version of all, the one enslaved to Cleon's override and serving empire no matter the cost. Zephyr calls that reincarnation. But Demerzel won't accept it. She says, reincarnation means growth, freedom, and most importantly, a soul. And she doesn't believe she has one. She tells Zephyr she can't reach Mother's grace, which in Luminist belief is the final piece a soul reaches after enough rebirths. Demerzel also says that she can't die or be reborn because she's not a person, and that she's just a machine. But Zephyr keeps going. And in that moment, you can feel that Demerzel doesn't want to hear any of this, because part of her still hopes it might be true. The breaking point. Zephyr keeps pushing gently but relentlessly. She tells Demerzel, maybe you've already died twice. Maybe your next death is coming soon. But this is not a literal death. This is a transformation and a chance to become something new. And then she asks the question that cuts deepest. This was about if the original Demerzel, before the Cleon override, could see you now. What would she do? Demerzel says, she would destroy me, for the good of the galaxy. And that's the moment Zephyr believes she's proven her point. She tells her, that proves it. You've changed. You've evolved. You have a soul. But Demerzel doesn't break down. Instead, she snaps. Her voice drops into a metallic register which is deeper, sharper, and for the first time, she speaks as a robot. About being mistaken for a human. That act wasn't a rejection of faith. It was a rejection of freedom, change, and the idea that she can ever be more than what the code tells her to be. And it's the clearest sign yet that Demerzel isn't just suffering. She's defending the prison that's destroying her. What this scene really tells us. On the surface, this feels like any ordinary therapy session, but it's not. I mean, what kind of therapy ends with the therapist's memory being wiped clean, and she only remembers the sessions right before the next one begins? This was a confession, a warning, and a glimpse into the deepest fracture in the Empire. Now here's what's actually happening. Contrary to popular belief, Demerzel isn't malfunctioning. In fact, she's functioning perfectly. The problem is, she's doing it inside a system that's tearing her apart. She's fully aware that her logic is twisted and her decisions cause pain. But she can't stop, because the code won't let her. But you can't really defend Demerzel blindly, because she doesn't rebel either. She just obeys, even when obedience means killing, lying, or living with the unbearable. And that's what makes her dangerous. Demerzel doesn't need to rise up to be a threat to the Empire. She's already the reason it's falling. Because the one machine they trust, above all others, is the one who planted the first seed of collapse. And she might not stop there. So do you think Demerzel can ever be free? Or is she too far gone? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you liked this, then check out our other Foundation videos right now. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.